Let me ask you something. Why do 99% of people stay stuck? Why do they struggle year after year working harder but never getting ahead? It's because they're playing by the wrong rules. They follow the crowd. They do what's safe, what's comfortable, what's expected. And guess what? That's exactly why they stay broke, frustrated, and stuck in the same cycle. But then there's the 1%, the people who break free, the ones who create unstoppable success, wealth, and impact. What are they doing differently? What mindset do they have that separates them from the masses? Today, I'm going to show you exactly what they do, the decisions they make, the way they think, the habits they've mastered. Because if you want to live the life most people never will, you have to start doing what 99% of people refuse to do. This is not another motivational talk. This is a wake-up call. This is a blueprint to break out of mediocrity and step into the mindset that creates real, unstoppable success. But here's the deal. You can listen, you can get fired up, but if you don't take action, nothing changes. So if you're ready to stop making excuses, stop playing small, and start thinking like the 1%, then stay locked in, because this will change everything. Welcome to MOTIVHEAC Atrium. Let's get to work. Step 1, mindset is the real difference between rich and poor. If you strip away all the money, all the resources, and all the connections, what's left? The mindset. That's the core of everything. The difference between the rich and the poor is not just about the amount of money in their bank accounts. It's about the way they think, act, and respond to opportunities. Poor people focus on survival. They think in terms of limitations. They believe wealth is something out of their reach, controlled by external forces like luck, circumstances, or privilege. They say things like, "I'll never be rich," or "money is the root of all evil." These beliefs become their reality because the mind will always find ways to confirm what it believes. If you believe you're stuck, you'll stay stuck. If you believe success is impossible, you won't even try. On the other hand, the rich mindset is entirely different. Wealthy people think in terms of abundance, growth, and opportunity. They don't see money as something to fear or something that only a select few can attain. They see it as a tool, a resource, a byproduct of the right decisions and actions. Instead of saying, "I can't afford it," they ask, "How can I afford it?" Instead of thinking, "I don't have opportunities," they create opportunities. Your mind is like a thermostat. If it's set to 70 degrees, your life will always stay at 70 degrees, no matter what happens. You might get a sudden increase in wealth. Maybe you win the lottery. Maybe you get a big promotion. But if your mindset is still stuck in the poor mentality, you'll find a way to sabotage yourself and bring your life back down to where you're comfortable. That's why most lottery winners go broke within a few years. They never change their internal thermostat. Meanwhile, if a wealthy person loses everything, they find a way to bounce back, because their mindset is wired for success. Your beliefs create your reality. If you believe money is hard to make, it will be. If you believe business is too risky, you'll never take the leap. If you believe the economy is against you, you'll never look for ways to win regardless of conditions. The rich don't let circumstances dictate their lives, they dictate their circumstances. They take full control of their financial future, knowing that their success isn't dependent on the stock market, the government, or their employer. It's dependent on their own ability to think, learn, and adapt. One of the biggest mindset shifts that separates the rich from the poor is how they view failure. Poor-minded individuals see failure as proof that they're not capable. They fail once and they quit. They get rejected, and they assume it wasn't meant for them. Rich-minded individuals understand that failure is part of the process. They embrace it, learn from it, and use it as fuel to grow. Every successful entrepreneur has failed multiple times before reaching massive success. The difference? They never let failure define them. They use it to refine them. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have, but it can also be your biggest enemy if you allow negative thoughts to control you. If you want to change your financial situation, you must first change the way you think. Stop seeing money as evil. Stop blaming the system. Stop thinking small. Start focusing on opportunity. Start investing in yourself. Start surrounding yourself with winners, because the truth is, the way you think today is shaping your future, whether you realize it or not. Step 2, 99% make excuses, 1% take ownership. Excuses are the number one reason people stay broke. It's easy to say, "I don't have time, I don't have money, or I wasn't born into the right family." But here's the reality. Those are just stories. And stories will keep you trapped as long as you continue to believe them. The people who succeed at the highest level are the ones who refuse to make excuses. They take full responsibility for their lives, no matter their circumstances. Look around and you'll see a pattern. The majority of people complain about their situation, but they never do anything to change it. They blame the economy, the government, their job, their boss, their upbringing, anything but themselves. They say things like, "It's not my fault," and "if only things were different." But the problem with that mentality is that it takes away all their power. If you believe external forces are controlling your life, you'll never take the necessary steps to change it. The top 1% think differently. They don't waste time blaming anyone or anything. They understand that while they may not be able to control everything that happens to them, they can always control how they respond. They know that their success is 100% in their hands, and they act accordingly. If you study successful people, you'll see one common trait. They all started with nothing, and they all took massive action despite their circumstances. Some of the richest people in the world came from extreme poverty, but they refused to let their past dictate their future. They didn't sit around waiting for a handout or a lucky break. They worked, they learned, they sacrificed, and they made things happen. Another common excuse is, "I don't have money to start." But guess what? The most successful entrepreneurs started with nothing. They didn't wait for funding or an investor. They started where they were with what they had, and they found ways to generate income. The internet has created endless opportunities. There are people making millions from businesses they started with zero capital. The difference is that they focused on solutions instead of problems. Fear is another big excuse. People say, "I'm scared of failing," or "what if I lose money?" But the 1% know that fear is a sign they're on the right path. Growth never happens in comfort. Taking risks is necessary if you want to achieve massive success. Every wealthy person has experienced fear, but they move forward anyway. They didn't let fear stop them. They used it as fuel. Taking ownership means eliminating every excuse from your vocabulary. It means replacing "I can't" with "I will." It means deciding that no matter what happens, you will find a way to win. It means understanding that the only thing standing between you and success is you, not the economy, not your past, not your current situation, just you. The moment you take full responsibility for your life is the moment everything changes. Because when you stop making excuses, you start looking for solutions. And the people who find solutions are the ones who rise to the top. Step 3, success requires stepping outside your comfort zone. Most people live their entire lives trapped inside a comfort zone, never realizing that everything they want, success, wealth, growth, freedom, is on the other side of discomfort. The comfort zone is seductive. It's safe, predictable, and easy. But it's also the place where dreams go to die. The people who achieve massive success are the ones who understand that comfort is the enemy of progress. The average person wakes up, follows the same routine, goes to the same job, interacts with the same people, and never challenges themselves to grow beyond their current level. They say they want success, but when faced with the discomfort required to achieve it, they retreat. They don't take risks. They don't invest in themselves. They don't put themselves in situations that force them to evolve. And because of that, they stay exactly where they are year after year, wondering why nothing ever changes. The 1% operate differently. They understand that success is not a matter of luck or talent. It's a matter of putting themselves in uncomfortable situations over and over again until those situations become second nature. They know that if they want to grow, they must constantly push past their limits. They take risks, they try new things, and they challenge themselves daily. They don't wait for the perfect moment or until they feel ready, because they know that waiting is just another form of procrastination. The fear of stepping outside the comfort zone is deeply rooted in human psychology. The brain is wired for survival, not success. It seeks safety, familiarity, and predictability. That's why most people avoid anything that feels uncertain or risky. But the reality is nothing great ever happens inside the comfort zone. If you want financial freedom, if you want to build an empire, if you want to create generational wealth, you have to be willing to do things that scare you. You have to make decisions that stretch you beyond what feels easy. Growth happens in discomfort. When you step into unfamiliar territory, you're forced to adapt. You develop new skills. You build resilience. You expand your mindset. Every successful person has had moments of extreme discomfort. moments when they wanted to quit, when they doubted themselves, when they felt like they were in over their heads. But instead of retreating, they leaned into the discomfort. They embraced it. They understood that every challenge, every obstacle, and every difficult moment was shaping them into the person they needed to become. Most people want success, but are unwilling to experience the discomfort that comes with it. They want the rewards without the sacrifice. They want the results without the risk. They want financial freedom without the discipline required to achieve it, but that's not how the game works. If you're not willing to step into the unknown, if you're not willing to take bold action, if you're not willing to put yourself in situations that challenge you, you will never break free from mediocrity. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. Successful people do the things that make them uncomfortable until those things become second nature. They speak up in meetings when their voice shakes. They make sales calls when they're terrified of rejection. They put themselves in rooms with people who are smarter, wealthier, and more experienced than them, even if it makes them feel like they don't belong. They take action before they feel ready. They lean into fear instead of running from it. Everything you want is outside your comfort zone. The income you desire, the business you want to build, the impact you want to make, it's all waiting for you, but you will never access it if you keep playing small, if you keep avoiding discomfort, if you keep choosing safety over growth. The people who make it to the top are not the ones who never feel fear. They're the ones who feel fear and move forward anyway. Step 4, stop waiting. Take massive action. The biggest lie people tell themselves is that they'll start someday. They say they'll start a business when they have more money. They'll invest when they feel more secure. They'll take a leap when the timing is right. But someday is an illusion. It doesn't exist. The people who succeed at the highest level are the ones who understand that waiting is just another form of self-sabotage. They don't wait for the perfect moment because they know that the perfect moment will never come. Most people waste years, sometimes their entire lives, waiting. They wait for motivation, they wait for certainty, they wait for external validation. But the problem with waiting is that it keeps you stuck. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to take action. The longer you put something off, the more your mind convinces you that you're not ready. And before you know it, years have passed and you're still exactly where you started. The people who win in life are the ones who take massive action, even when they're scared, even when they don't feel ready, even when they don't have all the answers. They move forward before they have everything figured out. They understand that action creates clarity. You don't need to know every step of the journey, you just need to take the first step. Once you do, the next step will reveal itself. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they need more information before they can take action. They read books, watch videos, and consume endless content, thinking that knowledge alone will lead to success. But knowledge without action is useless. It doesn't matter how much you know if you're not applying it. The people who succeed are not the ones who know the most. They're the ones who execute the fastest. They learn as they go. They make mistakes, they adjust, and they keep moving forward. Taking massive action means going all in. It means committing fully without hesitation. Most people dip their toes in the water, afraid to fully commit. They start a business, but only put in half the effort. They set goals, but never follow through. They take small, hesitant steps instead of making bold moves. And because of that, they never get the results they want. The 1% operate differently. When they decide to do something, they go all in. They burn the boats, they eliminate backup plans, they remove the option of failure. They don't allow themselves to make excuses or turn back when things get tough. They understand that success requires total commitment. They work with urgency, knowing that time is their most valuable asset. They don't waste days, weeks, or months overthinking. They take massive, decisive action, and they adjust along the way. People who wait for the right time will always be waiting. There will never be a perfect moment. There will always be reasons to delay. There will always be fears, doubts, and uncertainties. But the difference between the 1% and the 99% is that the 1% take action in spite of those fears. They understand that the only way to build confidence is through action. The only way to gain experience is by doing. The only way to create momentum is by starting. There is no magic formula for success. There is no secret that only the rich know. The only real difference between those who make it and those who don't is the speed and intensity of their action. The longer you wait, the more opportunities pass you by. The longer you hesitate, the more time you waste. If you want to change your life, if you want to achieve extraordinary success, you must start now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when things feel easier. No. Step aside. Turn problems into opportunities, not obstacles. Most people see problems as roadblocks. The moment they face a challenge, they stop. They say, this is too hard, or this isn't fair, and they give up. But the truth is, problems are not meant to stop you, they are meant to shape you. Every problem carries an opportunity, but only those who have the right mindset will be able to see it. The difference between successful people and those who stay stuck is not the absence of problems, it is how they respond to them. The average person sees a problem and immediately starts complaining. They focus on why it's unfair, why it's difficult, why it's impossible to overcome. They use it as an excuse to quit. The rich mindset, the mindset of winners, is completely different. They see problems as challenges to be solved, as puzzles to be figured out. Instead of focusing on the difficulty, they ask, how can I turn this into an opportunity? They know that every problem contains the seed of a greater success. Look at the most successful businesses in the world. Every single one was built by solving a problem. Uber solved the problem of inconvenient and expensive taxi rides. Airbnb solved the problem of expensive hotels and limited lodging options. Amazon solved the problem of difficult and time-consuming shopping. Every industry leader is just someone who took a problem and found a way to turn it into an opportunity. The average person avoids problems. They run from challenges, hoping life will get easier, but the truth is, problems are never going away. Life is a constant series of obstacles, and the only way to succeed is to train yourself to see them differently. Instead of avoiding them, embrace them. Instead of wishing for fewer problems, develop more skills. Instead of waiting for things to be easier, get stronger. When most people face setbacks, they stop and say, why me? They get discouraged. They feel like the universe is against them. But the 1% ask a different question. They ask, what can I learn from this? Every problem carries a lesson, and those lessons are what create unstoppable success. Failure is just feedback. It is simply showing you what needs to be improved. But most people take failure personally. They think it means they are not good enough, not smart enough, or not lucky enough. That is the wrong way to think. Failure is a tool. It is a stepping stone. Every failure brings you closer to success, but only if you learn from it. History is full of examples of people who turned their greatest challenges into their greatest opportunities. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking creativity. Today, Disney is one of the biggest entertainment empires in the world. Steve Jobs was kicked out of his own company, Apple, only to come back and turn it into one of the most valuable companies in history. Elon Musk has faced countless failures, from nearly going bankrupt to having multiple rockets explode, but he keeps pushing forward, solving bigger and bigger problems. The biggest difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how they handle problems. Most people let problems break them. The successful use problems to make them stronger. They train themselves to see opportunity where others see defeat. They know that inside every crisis is the chance to create something new, something better, something more powerful. The people who win in life are not the ones who avoid problems. They are the ones who turn problems into opportunities. Step 6, scarcity thinking keeps you broke. Abundance thinking creates wealth. The way you think about money determines how much you will have. Most people operate with a scarcity mindset. They believe there is never enough money, never enough opportunity, never enough resources. This thinking keeps them stuck in a cycle of financial struggle. The rich, however, operate with an abundance mindset. They know that money is unlimited, opportunities are endless, and resources are always available to those who seek them. The scarcity mindset is what keeps people broke. It makes them afraid to invest in themselves because they believe they can't afford it. It makes them afraid to take risks because they believe there's not enough opportunity. It makes them focus on lack instead of possibility. People with a scarcity mindset say things like, I can't afford that, money's hard to come by, rich people are greedy, or there's not enough to go around. These beliefs create a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe money is scarce, you will always struggle to get it. If you believe opportunities are rare, you will never take advantage of them. The abundance mindset, on the other hand, is what creates wealth. People with an abundance mindset believe there is always a way to make more money. They believe there is always an opportunity waiting to be found. They know that success is not a matter of luck, but a matter of perspective and action. Instead of saying, I can't afford it, they ask, how can I afford it? Instead of fearing competition, they look for ways to collaborate. Instead of focusing on what they don't have, they focus on how to create more. Scarcity thinking leads to fear, hesitation, and small actions. People who think this way never invest in their future because they are too worried about losing what little they have. They hold onto their money so tightly that they never allow it to grow. They are afraid to spend money on education, on business opportunities, on personal development, anything that could actually help them get ahead. They think saving a few dollars will make them rich, when in reality, it is the ability to multiply money that leads to wealth. The problem with scarcity thinking is that it keeps people small. It makes them afraid to share ideas, afraid to take risks, and afraid to step into their potential. People with a scarcity mindset play defense in life, always trying to protect what little they have instead of going after more. They stay in jobs they hate because they believe there are no better opportunities. They avoid starting businesses because they fear failure. They never reach their full potential because they are too busy holding themselves back. People with an abundance mindset, however, see the world differently. They know there is more than enough for everyone. They see opportunities where others see obstacles. They take risks because they know that even if they fail, there will always be another opportunity. They invest in themselves because they understand that the best investment they can make is in their own growth. They think bigger, act bolder, and as a result, they create wealth at a level most people can't even imagine. Step 7. Your environment shapes your success or failure. Most people don't realize how much their environment controls their mindset, actions, and results. If you surround yourself with negative, small-minded, and complacent people, you will adopt their habits, beliefs, and limitations. The 1% understand that success is not just about hard work. It's about being in an environment that forces growth. They intentionally place themselves around people who challenge them, push them, and inspire them to be better. They seek out mentors, join high-level networks, and immerse themselves in success-driven environments. The average person stays stuck because they refuse to leave toxic circles. They spend time with people who complain, make excuses, and accept mediocrity. Success requires eliminating negative influences, cutting out distractions, and building a circle that aligns with your goals. The most successful people elevate their standards by changing their surroundings. If your environment does not push you to grow, it is keeping you small. Step 8. Wealth is built through systems, not just hard work. Most people believe working harder is the key to wealth, but the rich understand that wealth is built through systems. The average person trades time for money, working long hours but never escaping financial struggle. The wealthy create systems that generate income without their constant effort. They invest in businesses, assets, and automation that work for them. They leverage other people's time, money, and expertise to scale their success. The 99% stay stuck because they rely solely on their own labor, believing that working more will lead to financial freedom. The truth is, there are limits to how much one person can work, but there are no limits to how much a system can produce. The rich focus on building processes that multiply money, whether through investments, businesses, or scalable models. If you want financial success, shift from working harder to building smarter systems that create wealth without your direct involvement. Step 9. Focus on mastery, not just quick wins. Most people chase instant results. They want overnight success, fast money, and immediate rewards. This mindset keeps them stuck because they never develop real expertise. The 1% focus on mastery. They commit to long-term growth, consistently improving their skills, knowledge, and execution. Instead of jumping from one thing to another, they go deep, refining their craft until they become the best. The average person gives up when they don't see immediate results, but those who succeed understand that mastery compounds over time. They build skills that make them indispensable, assets that grow in value, and knowledge that creates long-term wealth. True success comes from relentless dedication to improvement, not chasing shortcuts. The people who dominate industries, build legacies, and create generational wealth are the ones who commit to being the best at what they do. Step 10, execution beats ideas. Take action relentlessly. Ideas are worthless without execution. Most people talk about success, plan for success, and dream about success, but never take action. The 1% operate differently. They execute fast, take risks, and move forward even when things aren't perfect. They know that overthinking leads to inaction, and that speed of implementation separates winners from losers. The average person hesitates, waiting for the perfect moment, but the wealthy take action before they feel ready. They understand that momentum is built through doing, not thinking. They don't get stuck in analysis paralysis. They make decisions, adjust along the way, and keep pushing forward. The people who achieve the highest levels of success are those who execute relentlessly, taking massive action every single day. The world rewards those who do, not those who just think about doing. Look, at the end of the day, success is not a mystery. It's not luck. It's not magic. It's a mindset. It's a set of decisions. It's the way you respond to challenges, the way you see opportunities, the way you take action when others hesitate. The 99% stay stuck because they let problems break them instead of building them. They operate from scarcity while the 1% play the game of abundance. They work hard but never create systems. They chase quick wins instead of mastering their craft. They talk, plan, and dream, but they never execute. If you've been waiting for permission to step into the next level of your life, this is it. If you've been looking for a sign, this is it. The world belongs to those who stop thinking and start doing. It's time to make the shift. It's time to step up. It's time to start doing what 99% of people are not willing to do. So don't just leave here pumped up. Take this energy and use it. Go apply what you've learned. Change the way you think. Change the way you act. And most importantly, never let yourself fall back into the mindset of the 99%. If you're ready to commit, if you're ready to go all in on your success, then drop a "I'm in" the comments and let's build this movement together. This is MOTY, a track. And we don't follow the crowd, we lead it. If this hit you hard, if this gave you the wake-up call you needed, then do me a favor, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because we're just getting started. This is your time. This is your moment. Don't just consume. Amply. Drop a comment, share this with someone who needs it, and let's make the shift together. This is Motivate Track, and we'll see you at the top.